week on Prepping 2.0.
This is very meat and potatoes prepping. This is a list of stuff you need. It's in a handy format. Boom, you get the information and you go do what you need to do.
When disaster strikes, will you be prepared? This is Prepping 2.0 with authors and prepping experts Glenn Tate and Shelby Gallagher.
Online at prepping2-0.com.
Get ready. Prepping 2.0 coming in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everyone. This is Shelby Gallagher over here at Prepping 2.0, joined by my partner on the show and partner in life, Glenn Tate.
Well, hello. Hey, this is episode 136, which is part 2 of what we're continuing from episode 135. What might that be, you ask? We are covering the top 100 things that go the quickest in a collapse. A regular show on episode 135, we got through 1 through 8. It took us an hour to get through 8 of them. But you see, there's a lot of color commentary and a lot of good, candidly, can I be honest, good information that we have. Because we have experience with all these items. A lot of the experience, by the way, is us failing. Then in the after show of episode 135, we covered items 9 through 14. Moment of candor, the Patreons support us and make this show financially possible. It costs a lot of money to produce it, and that's okay. So we gave them 9 through 14. What does that mean to you? Here in episode 136, we're going to start at item number 15 of the top 100 and go as far as we can in the regular show. The after show will have a couple more, and then we'll probably keep going on to a part 3. Here's why all of this is important. This is a list of the top 100 things that go the quickest in a collapse as determined by people who've been in collapses. This is important. This is a checklist. This is a great, quick, once-over, easy primer on a variety of topics. And so we think you're going to get a really concentrated amount of good information in a very short amount of time. So please continue listening.
Some updated announcements. Encourage you that if you want to shop at our website, we did a Moving Day Memorial Day sale recently.
It was so doggone good. We're gonna keep it going.
Couple of things. First of all, we're getting ready to move. You know, we're going to be moving over this summer. We don't want to move this stuff.
Right.
We'll stock up on it when we land where we're going to land, but we don't want to move it. So we're going to continue this sale. I just finished emailing with our web designer. The prices have been extended through basically the month of June through the 4th of July. So we're going to go from one patriotic holiday to another. And what you'll get is buy one, get one free. I Miss America face masks.
Love them.
Love them. And,
And koozies.
And koozies. Buy one,
Which
get one
are great
free.
for the summer. You got to have something to put, a cold canned beverage in.
Absolutely. And then any orders over $60 get free shipping, which is great. So I encourage you to go check that out. No coupon code needed.
Yeah. The computer just does it. You put in a koozie and it'll be like, okay, here's the price of a koozie. Guess what? You're getting 2.
Well, and
the computers do it all. They think for us. This is great. What could go wrong?
And if you think the computer's wrong, Shelby's on the other end of fulfillment. She'll make sure you get what you get.
You're going to get 2. Yeah, we're not going to send out 1.
Absolutely. We're trying to downsize a little bit here. So this is the Prepping 2.0 garage sale. So there you go. So I encourage you to do that. Go to our website, prepping2-0.com. Click on shopping, and you'll find all of our goodies there.
Lurkers come out of the shadows. What do we mean by that? You're listening to the regular show, you're a lurker. You're like, hey, I heard so many cool things in the after show, like several of the items on the top 100 list are exclusively on the after show. Gee, I wonder what it's like. Do you have $2 a month? Because that's what it costs to be a Patreon. We encourage you to be a Patreon. Get the full information of this show, a good chunk of which is presented in the after show. And the only way to get the after show is to be a Patreon supporter. How do I do that, you ask? Go to prepping2-0.com. And on the homepage, on the right side, there's a reddish, orangish, rustish, autumnal, which is a great word, means autumn, like.
It's orange.
It's orange. Button that says Become a Patreon. You click on that, boom, da-da-da-da. It all gets done. So, enough about that. Shelby, why don't you tell folks about a couple of our sponsors?
We have great sponsors out there that make what we do easier, and they're great products. I want to point out to you real quick, one of our great sponsors, Numanna Foods. Great folks over there. They deal in bulk freeze-dried foods. This is not little serving sizes that you can add a little bit of water to. This is buckets. This is gallon size. Family portions of freeze-dried food for long-term preps. They have non-GMO. They have organic. They have gluten-free. And as many of you noticed during the COVID craziness about a year ago, they got sparse. That could happen again. So don't wait around.
Dilly-dally.
Don't dilly-dally. That's kind of the point of this whole show. You can find
all of our shows.
Exactly. Go to our website, prepping2-0.com. Click on Friends and Affiliates. Over there, you'll see Numanna Foods logo. At checkout, use the coupon code PREP, P-R-E-P, in lowercase letters, and you'll get 10% off. Another one of our great sponsors, which I'm really enjoying right now because it's coursing through my veins.
It's ugly.
It's an addiction.
It's awful.
I'm addicted to coffee. I'm so in trouble when a collapse happens and we can't get shipments from wherever coffee comes from.
Oh, the team will bust down doors and shoot people to get you coffee, honey. That's a commitment they've made to me.
Minute Coffee, great patriots over there. They roast our exclusive blend, I Miss America blend. Encourage you to check them out. They have many, many different roasts. They have some really cool offers and kind of, where you can get a monthly subscription to coffee. I can't talk when I'm jacked up on it. So use the coupon code I Miss America at checkout and you'll get 15% off your order. Great folks over there.
Well, terrific. We are going to resume where we left off in the after show of episode 135, which, as I mentioned, we left off on number 14. So we will begin on item number 15. And before we do, I will say the great place to get this list for free, and I highly encourage you print it out and you use this as a checklist of stuff you need to have. It's really, 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 it's very valuable for that. Go to prepping2-0.com. And on the right side, about halfway down, is a button that says the new list of top 100 things that go the fastest in a collapse. Click on that. You'll be sent to a website. It's got the list of the 100 things. Print it out, as I said. It's free, and we use it. One of the things we love about this list is it reminds us of stuff that maybe 3 years ago we thought, oh, yeah, I could probably use, let's say, a grain grinder. That's number 15. Is a little preview.
Hey, you're taking away my thunder.
Stealing the thunder. But you thought, whatever, and you forgot about it. Well, now it's on the list, and you think about it. So this is really good. This is very meat and potatoes prepping. This is a list of stuff you need. It's in a handy format. Boom, you get the information, and you go do what you need to do.
So the other thing I wanted to add to that, they updated it recently. This list was originally compiled, like you hear us talk about all the time, based upon the experience of those who survived the Bosnian collapse in the 90s. And now it's been updated and modernized, which I appreciate.
New products, new things have been invented, things are cheaper.
Right. And I encourage you, because we're right on the cusp. We've talked about it. We're seeing it in the news. Things are getting more expensive and things are getting very scarce. I just saw an article yesterday. Costco's CFO came out just a few days ago saying that they are scarcity and prices are going up.
Yeah.
This is Costco saying meat prices, household products like
paper products,
toilet paper, paper plates, cleaning supplies are going to go up. This is Costco's CFOs.
And they don't go and say that stuff unless the prices are really going up. I mean, they don't goof around. They're hesitant to say these things.
Right.
So when they say them, guarantee you, as Shelby Gallagher often says, that it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And they don't want to admit it either, but they have to because they need to preempt it so people don't start complaining. So I want to start with number 15. And based on what you just said a moment ago, Glenn, this is one of those things, as long as we've been together, like, yeah, we need to get one of those.
Oh, we should totally get one of those.
Yeah, and then here it is on the list. I'm like, no, really? We are going to get one of these. And you've already stolen my thunder, but think about what happened this last year with deep freezers. Freeze dryers where people couldn't get a deep freezer for like 6 months and they paid more for it because
food freeze dryers, Harvest Right, completely out of stock for I think 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months, for sure 12 weeks. I know that. So grain grinders, kind of the same thing. The gold standard for grain grinders, and we're talking about taking wheat berries, which
stupid cheap, stupid easy to store, stupid
lasts forever, easy to store. And turning it into like awesome flour, not like
legit baking flour, not granola bars.
Exactly. So the gold standard out there, and they are not a sponsor, but if anyone knows somebody, hook us up because we would love to get in touch with them. Country Living Grain Mills. Go to their website. Check. There's a bunch of videos over there. We were just listening to a few of them. The music's kind of cheesy, but the video.
You're not going there for music.
No, we're not going there for entertainment. We're going there to see how these things work. And it looks like your grandma's old, meat
Little
grind.
House on the Prairie material.
Yep. It's not a little, like coffee grinder. It is bolt that thing to the counter and start grinding. And here's what I've noticed. This is why I make the prediction that they're going to become like freezers and deep fry or freeze dryers. One, the price has gone up. They used to be just south of $400. Now they're $489.
Not cheap, but
Not
totally
cheap.
worth it for reasons that Shelby will describe in a moment.
And they've had to put on there, they were very proud for a long time, made in America. Now they've had to put an asterisk due to supply chain issues. The flywheel, which is the round wheel, may be cast in China. So they're having supply problems as well. This is one of those things. Glenn and I are like, we're not buying any more preps while we're moving. No, we're going to buy one of these.
Yeah, it's the exception to the rule.
This is because of supply issues. I don't want to
and inflation.
In a year, I don't want to not be able to get one and it be $1,000. Look, check out the accessories there. There is an electrical attachment. There's a peanut butter attachment. There's some really kind of cool things depending on your situation that you might like.
Is there a taco attachment where you put wheat in and tacos come out? Because that would be awesome.
So the flip side of this, I'm just going to keep right on talking. We did a VBS. Nope. We did a VBS recently. I don't know, it was probably whenever. We did one recently where we went to an LDS
cannery
store where you can buy bulk long-term items, and they have wheat berries for cheap, seriously cheap, and that's the combination you're looking at there. And we talked about this in a recent show when we talked about this. We want to do that, so we're going to get the grain grinder here pretty soon. And when we land in Montana, we're going to find our LDS center, and we're going to get.
Will not be hard.
Nope, not in Montana.
We're
going to be finding some wheat berries. Many of you, depending on where you live in the country, will be able to just go to your local co-op, your farmer's co-op, and you will be able to find them. Seriously cheap, easy way to be ready to be able to bake and make food for your family when you can't go to the grocery store and find ground flour.
Yeah, and you can grind other things like spelt and other things for us gluten-free folks. Here's the thing, guys. We're always talking about efficiency and saving money, and there's some things you can cheap out on and other things you cannot cheap out on. A grain grinder is the quintessential example of something you cannot cheap out on. $400+. Probably by the time shipping's involved, it'll be over $500.
Actually, it's free shipping.
Oh, free shipping. Okay.
Sweet.
Well, great. $400 or $500. You're saying, geez, that's kind of a lot of money. Yeah, it is kind of a lot of money. I can tell you from friends' experience, I have not had this experience myself, but friends of mine have gone onto Amazon and got the $89 grain grinder, and it works for like 2 loaves of bread, and then it doesn't. This is not some kind of machine that just anybody can make. It's built to tolerances. It's built to last. These country living grain grinders will last decades. Think of the Little House on the Prairie thing. That's what they are. They're made to last. You cannot cheap out. If you're going to, here's the thing. You need to decide to yourself, am I going to commit to having a wheat system? A system? What do you mean a wheat system? Well, it starts with, are you going to source the wheat berries? Are you going to go to the LDS cannery? Or if you live in some parts of the country, farmers will just have excess grain in the grain elevators. The problem is that, they put it in a 55-gallon drum and you got to like transport it, and it's really super heavy. So, but that's why we're big fans of the more moderate sizes and prices at the LDS cannery. However, you need to have a plan in place for the wheat, way to store it. It stores very easily. Don't worry about that. Then getting the machine, and then making sure you've got the way to bolt it down and do all the other stuff you need. You got a table for it. Again, it's a system. And then you're going to need to have a system for all the other parts of the bread ingredients that you need, and you know what those are, and you can figure it out. If you have decided that you want to produce food for what I think is probably the cheapest food possible to produce is grinding your own wheat and making bread, incredibly nutritious, stores forever, the wheat stores forever, and then the bread is sort of, on demand, right? Then this system is for you. If you have a lot of people to feed, like a team of gunfighters, and you want to do it right, and you're serious, you're a 2.0er and not a 1.0er, consider the grain grinder. In my opinion, do not consider any other one other than the Country Living one. It's one we're getting, and you'll be disappointed with other stuff.
So kind of the unspoken thing in this discussion about grain grinders. Why do you want to consider a grain grinder? Because ground wheat goes rancid quickly. Wheat stored in, I don't know, a Tupperware type container, a sealable plastic container in your kitchen is good for about a year or so.
I don't know that technically goes rancid, but I know what you mean. It goes bad.
Yeah. It goes stale, it goes bad. Depending on the flour, it'll be rancid or it'll just be stale and bad. And it won't rise, it won't do what it needs to do. Wheat berries, the archaeologists have found wheat berries from, King Tut era, and they have been viable. They've been able to grow, and they've been able to be used to make bread. So that's the difference. By storing wheat berries and grinding them yourself, you're capturing that ability to do deep preps. And it's much more nutritionally better for you. It makes me think about, for those of us who were raised reading the Little House on the Prairie books, there's the book, The Long Winter. And that was when you read it, it's through the eyes of Laura Ingalls Wilder, who sugar-coated it for the consumption of small children reading that book. But The Long Winter in the Dakotas that year that happened was harsh. Many, many, many people died. And you will remember the story where somebody in the town was storing wheat berries and not telling anyone. And how they survived is taking wheat berries, grinding them in a small coffee grinder all day long, and making a small loaf of bread every day. And how much Laura hated doing it was when it was her turn to grind, because it was so tedious in a small coffee grinder, but it saved their family's life. And go look that up. That the story is called in that series, The Long Winter, but the actual long winter that she refers to in her writing was horrifying in terms of the number of deaths and the slow starving and the freezing of many citizens in the Dakotas when that happened. So I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen to you, but wheat berries can be a very viable way to provide and do good deep food storage. So now that we've completely driven that point into the ground, It's Glenn's turn.
Number 16, y'all, propane cylinders. We've talked about propane generators. We've talked about lamps. We talked about the Mr. Buddy heaters.
Have we talked about propane accessories, though?
I'm told that my Hank Hill imitation is awesome and everybody loves it. So here we go. Propane and propane accessories. Hank Hill for you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Yeah, I'm here all night. I'm here till Tuesday at the Airport Comedy Lounge. 2-drink minimum. Anyway, propane cylinders. Much like we've said about everything else, there are systems out there. If you're going to have a Mr. Buddy heater, you're going to have the Little Buddy heater or the Mr. heater, whatever it's called. You got to have the 1 pound propane cylinders. If you're going to have some of the propane lanterns, you got to have the 1 pound propane cylinder. If you're going to have the propane generator, you're probably going to want not the little barbecue size. You're probably going to want the 100 pound propane cylinders full of stuff. Barbecue-sized propane cylinders are always handy for, among other things, barbecues. The point is that you've got to have propane cylinders. If you have anything that uses propane, you're going to use more propane than you think. Propane is very cheap right now compared to what it's going to be. It lasts forever. Get yourself, I'll just say this, at our house, and we're going to be moving these soon, we have 8 100-pound propane cylinders. That's how much we think we'd go through that in about a year, running our dual fuel propane generator for half hour to an hour a day. Probably maybe 2 years we'd run through it. You got to have it. You got to have it now. It's going to dry up just like all the other stuff. Prices of all petroleum products, I don't know if it's a petroleum product, I guess it's natural gas, whatever it is.
Deep
energy stuff is going to go up thanks to our awesome so-called president. So there you go. Number 16, propane cylinders. Shelby, anything to add to propane cylinders?
No, get some. Very handy.
There you go.
Yeah, very handy. Some. And it's one of those, when you have it and somebody else doesn't, you're going to be glad you have it. So, yeah, number 17.
Number 17 is an odd one, so you'll be covering that.
I'll be covering it, but I'm going to let you take it because
Okay,
you're the pro.
because it's my thing?
It's your thing. Silver, go ahead.
Before we get to number 17, I
Yes.
wanted to mention a couple more sponsors. Cati Armor, CATI, which stands for Come and Take It Armor. Steel armor plates for body armor. And it's good stuff. You better get it while you can. Steel's rare, and the politicians are trying to outlaw this stuff. If you go to catiarmor.com, again, CATI, and you use the coupon code GRANT, get 10% off. I also wanted to mention Backwoods Home, great magazine, quarterly magazine. We love it. And you should definitely get it. If you're a Prepping 2.0 listener, you're going to love Backwoods Home magazine. 6 off is the coupon code. The number 6, OFF, is the coupon code. And I'll round it out with EMP Shield. They make an amazing product, EMP Shield. Go into our Friends and Affiliates page, which is prepping2-0.com, the Friends and Affiliate page, and you'll see all this stuff. And you'll get the $50 off discount by using the coupon code Prepping 2.0. What is EMP Shield? If you're a new listener, we will tell you that it is a device that you wire into whatever it is you don't want to be destroyed, don't want to have destroyed by an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, or a coronal mass ejection, a CME, which the sun does periodically. And it will not, if you have this device, your stuff won't get fried. And that's going to be pretty big. Put on generators, vehicles, your entire house, whatever it may be. So with that in mind, I'm going to launch into number 17, which is silver and gold. Holy Toledo, we could do 2 whole episodes on this. Oh, wait, we did. Off the top of my head, episode 35 with Joe Jaquin of Patriot Trading Group. Well, that's where we buy our gold and silver, and they don't pay us. So it's not like, we're steering you to somebody. And then episode 75 off the top of my head. Gold and silver is magnificent for several reasons. First of all, it captures value and wealth. Right now, the price of a 1 ounce gold coin, U.S. hallmarked coin, which means like a U.S. real coin that everybody looking at it will know it's really gold. You know what I mean? It's like a 1870 a gold dollar, or a gold $20 gold piece, or a silver dollar. Everybody knows what it is. Known quantity, known quality. So gold is about $2,100 for that coin right now, and silver's about $35 for that 1 ounce coin. Forget spot prices, because that's what it's trading at according to the commodities exchange thing. They're like, oh yeah, gold is $1,870. That's the spot price, and you're like, well, why are the coins more? Because the spot price, and this would take 2 hours to explain, is artificially manipulated low. So forget that. You got to have gold and silver because it is incredibly barterable. It takes up no space whatsoever. It doesn't rot. It doesn't go rancid. It's easy to store, and you're capturing, in the case of the $2,100 gold coin, $2,100 of your money now. And then when that gold coin, that 1 ounce of gold, is worth, in the real world, forget spot price, in the real world is worth $5,000, which I really think is happening in about a year or two. You've captured the value, you've beaten inflation, and you can get stuff when people won't take cash, and the credit card system's down, and the ATM system's down, or the government does a digital dollar and they say your old dollars are only worth half of what they are now. You've got gold and silver. You have absolutely, it's wealth insurance. You've protected your money. And the reasons for gold and silver are all carried out, as I say, and described very, very well by Joe Jaquin, our guest, who again runs Patriot Trading Group, in those other episodes. So all the details are in there. Highly, highly recommend. Well, we are going to come back in segment 2 and start with number 18, which is seemingly no big deal, but it is buckets. Stick around to hear about buckets.
More of Prepping 2.0 with authors Glenn Tate and Shelby Gallagher is coming right up. Hear all our previous shows free online at prepping2-0.com.
Abe Lincoln here. In 1773, patriots broke the chains of British tyranny by throwing tea into Boston Harbor. On that day, Americans began drinking coffee. We celebrate that event daily here at Minutemen Coffee. All men are created equal. Coffee is not. Minutemen Coffee is roasted to perfection in small batches. Bold, smooth, and never bitter. Shipped to you fresh daily. Whole bean, ground, or our patented pods. www.minutemencoffee.com.
Shelby Gallagher here. We found that you need to layer your food preps.
Yeah, this is Glenn Tate here. A lot of times the hardest part of layering is the long-term foods. We love Numana foods, which have a 25-year shelf life and are non-GMO. Also, organic meals are available.
Numana comes in family-style portions and in bulk. This is not backpacking food. It's family meals that last for at least 25 years. The perfect freeze-dried part of your food layering.
You can get a sample of Numana meals for $19.95 and see for yourself. You will be amazed.
Prepping 2.0 listeners get a 10% discount by entering the code PREP.
Go to Numana.com or click the link on the Prepping 2.0 website.
Give it a try. Numana.com. That is NUMANNA.com.
When the grid goes down, darkness will descend fast. Used to be there was nothing you could do about an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, or CME, coronal mass ejection. Now you can protect your electronics, protect your family, thanks to EMP Shield. EMP Shield invented a simple-to-install device that prevents whatever's connected to it from frying in an EMP or CME, and it costs just a few $100s. EMP Shield has been tested by independent laboratories and passed muster with the government, which has ordered lots of them. Google EMP Shield and see for yourself. And save some money. Get a $50 discount per device. Go to prepping2-0.com. Click on the Friends and Affiliates page, then click on the EMP Shield logo. At checkout, use coupon code PREPPING2.0. It's all one word.
PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Looking to meet other like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own prepper group? Already have a group? Join PrepperNet.com. PrepperNet has gathered the biggest names in the industry to help unite preppers everywhere. Join John Jacob Schmidt, Scott Hunt, Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy, Glenn Tate, Shelby Gallagher, Charlie Hogwood, Samuel Culper, Survivor Jane, Rick Austin, Franklin Horton, Ryan Mitchell, and Brian Duff. Our team is united. Check us out at PrepperNet.com. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. PrepperNet.com.
Prepping 2.0 is about that next level of prepping. One of the key 2.0 items to have is bulletproof body armor plates. I used to think body armor was too tactical for a regular guy like me, but it isn't. Give yourself, your family, and your team an unfair advantage when bullets are flying. Body armor used to be expensive and hard to get. Not anymore. KD Armor, and that stands for Come and Take It, makes solid and affordable body armor for normal people. Get body armor while you can. The clowns in Congress are trying to prohibit future sales. KD Armor is the place to get it. CATI Armor.com. Prepping 2.0 listeners get a 10% discount when you use the coupon code GRANT.
Now, more of Prepping 2.0 with authors Glenn Tate and Shelby Gallagher.
Welcome back, everyone. Shelby Gallagher here. I wanted to touch on one more thing regarding gold and silver before we would launch into number 18. I'm a listener when I can of Joe Jaquint at Patriot Trading Group. He is laughing his head off right now. And if you listen to his show recently, you know this. He is scoffing because financiers out there, people who have
Warren Buffett types
who have made money on the stock market and in the whole 401k world, and these guys and gals who have been very critical of gold and silver because
they've laughed. They said it's a conspiracy theory. They've mocked gold and silver.
Why would you? Just the storage of that alone is laughable. Blah 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 blah. Guess what? They're now investing in gold and silver.
What does that tell you?
That should tell you something, folks. They're seeing a financial crisis coming with what's happening with inflation and digidollars, and so there you have it. So this is where we as preppers can go, ha 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 ha, neener neener, told ya. So any Hoosers on to number 18, Glenn.
Number 18 is buckets. Geez, why do I need a list of 100 top things that go the fastest? I know everything. I got a bunch of AR-15s and ammunition. Well, you know what? You need buckets too. It sounds goofy, but you do. A million uses. Carrying water. We talked about water containers earlier in the previous episode. Buckets are going to carry a ton of stuff. You see, right now, you get your stuff for the most part by getting in a car and taking your stuff and putting it in your car and driving home. Or it comes to you from Amazon or whatever it is. In other words, moving stuff around by foot is not really much of an issue right now because we have it made and stuff is working. Well, when there's no gasoline, car parts are in short supply, or by driving a car, you're going to draw sniper fire based on a true story, Sarajevo. You're going to need to haul stuff around. And buckets are the way to do it. And one of the ways to do it. And bottom line, guys, if buckets makes this list, there are reasons, probably innumerable reasons. I mean, the Bosnian folks could come on here and probably talk for half an hour about all the uses of buckets. Bottom line, it's on the list. It's got to be important, and this is yet another example of stuff that's on this list that you never would have thought of, and you need to be reminded of.
So I will add to the buckets, and I have the feeling this comes up later on the list, if I recall. I mean, we talked about it in the after show in the last show. A gorilla cart sort of wagon, a gardening heavy duty sort of wagon. With
maybe the balloony kind of inflated landscaping tires instead of the little teeny ones.
I do not recommend a wheelbarrow for this because if you're trying to move a liquid, it's very difficult. We have 2 of them on our property.
Use them all the time.
And we thought, we'll just use it for gardening. Nope, we use them constantly. We have beat the crap out of one of them, and we bought another one, and we've kept the cruddy one, and we're using the other. And those are going to Montana with us.
Oh, absolutely.
So in terms of if I needed to move 6 buckets of something, I'm just encouraging you to grow. Because if you've ever carried something heavy in a bucket, it's painful and it hurts your hands and it pulls on your shoulders. Think about ways to move those buckets easier, faster, bigger, better. So think out into that universe a little bit too. And I'm sure that's going to come up on carts or wagons and wheelbarrows are going to come up. But I think that goes to what we've been talking about, a system. So do you have anything to add that? Are you ready for me to go on?
Number 19, Shelby is going to take away because this is a topic she talks about in her book series, A Great State, and nobody can describe it better than her. Take it away, number 19.
Baby supplies, folks. During a collapse, babies will be the first victims. They really will in terms of starvation. And we've seen that time and time again in collapses around the world. Starvation, the inability to get just basic baby supplies. Babies, I'm talking about children under the age of about 2. I encourage you. I cannot stress it enough. And I talk about this at length. It's part of it's this last
part of the storyline.
The huge part of the storyline in my second and third books in terms of rescuing a baby in my books. Diapers and formula, ointments, baby aspirin, all of those things. I encourage you to get a supply. Do we have babies in our world, Glenn? Nope. That ship has sailed. Do we have baby supplies in our supplies?
Yep.
We have diapers. And we have some formula. We might need to check that and recycle it. Here's the other thing that's happened in this whole world. The suppliers out there have put it out there. I think Costco, Walmart, and one other big...
Kimberly-Clark and Procter & Gamble have both said...
Baby products are going to skyrocket this year. I encourage you, there's a couple ways to get some of these things for cheap. Anyone who's had a baby recently, when they come out of the hospital, they're given a whole bunch of coupons, freebies, rebate coupons, blah, 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 for baby formula and baby diapers. If you can get a hold of some of those, get a supply. And I would say diapers that are good for about a 20-pound baby, because babies tend to stay around that weight for the longest part of their development. Encourage you to get some baby formula. Honestly, Costco's baby formula is good stuff. Get a couple of canisters of that. Dried milk, just dehydrated milk is good for that. I also recommend a supply of baby aspirin. Baby aspirin, adults can take it, and it's good for their heart. It's good for bringing down fevers. Baby Tylenol is the same way, except it's in a liquid form. It's a little less stable. I would get some of the baby butt paste is what they call it for diaper rashes. All of those things are going to be incredibly useful in a collapse if a baby ends up in your sphere of influence, and you can be a lifesaver, and you can be the hero. So what are your thoughts?
I would add to all of this cloth diapers. I think you should have both disposable diapers, which are good for travel and things like that. You may be, transporting a baby through several states and a bunch of danger. Storyline in A Great State. So there's that. So cloth diapers, you're going to have a way of washing them, which is going to be our next item we're going to talk about. When it comes to paper diapers, I guess that's what you'd call them. Disposable diapers. Shelby had a great idea and passed it on to me very early on when I knew her. And that was take about 10 of them, some sort of like packaged item thing, bartering thing, put 10 of them and vacuum seal them. That way they won't accumulate moisture in the air. And now you've got 10 diapers vacuum sealed, and you can give it away. It is barterable. It has a million uses. Don't forget the babies. And this is a classic thing. She started off this so correctly saying, we don't have any babies. And so I never really thought about babies. After, my kids were done being babies, I kind of didn't even think about babies anymore. You got to get out of that. And even if you don't have babies, you need to have some of this stuff. You talk about a charity item, and let's just be candid. I always talk about it. The other side of charity is buying friends and allies. You can get somebody some cloth or disposable diapers and some baby formula, and they will become an informant for you. They will become a lookout for you. They might even become a trigger puller for you. There are a ton of ways to buy friendship with baby supplies, and you should really, really consider it. Once again, an example of something on this list that you never would have thought of if it weren't on this list.
Well, and I recommend you do like a whole, shelf in your store. No, one tub that is like your emergency go-to baby supplies. A package, you can buy diapers in like 40 packs. One pack divvied up that way. A couple canisters of formula, a couple of just a basic supply. I do not recommend doing, a whole quarter of your cellar in baby supplies. Space is always a premium, but this is a great way that you can save someone's life and be, I think about what Jesus has told us. Women and children first. Those that are most weakest amongst you, you need to pay the most attention to. And children are one of them. So, and that's the whole reason why my third book is called The Rescue, because there might be a baby that's being rescued. All right, what's the next one, Glenn?
Number 20, laundry supplies for manual use. I would expand that and not just say laundry supplies for manual use. I would say a clothes washing system for manual use. That would include compact washing machines that don't require electricity. They're hand-powered. Great example of the Prepping 2.0 philosophy of, hey, we're here to do a show to tell you about new technological things, and the prices have come down for $100 or so on Amazon. Just type in manual laundry or manual washing machine.
And there's a hyperlink right there.
There's a hyperlink,
right there on the list. Yeah,
in the list that's on the Prepping 2.0 website. The new 100 things that disappear the fastest is the little button thing you're looking for on there. You're going to have a way to wash clothes, and assume that you're not going to have utilities. People take clean clothes for granted. I don't know if you've ever been out in the field for like 2 or 3 days with like the team, for example. You're grimy, you're disgusting, you're dirty, and that is actually a hygiene problem. It's more than just a comfort thing. It can become a hygiene problem, especially with socks and underwear if you wear them, or if you go commando, which is actually preferable, a reference that some will understand. But you're going to need to wash clothes. It's a hygiene situation, and it is a huge morale booster. So look into the hand-cranked $100 or so. I was surprised that these things even existed. Apparently they like got them for like little villages in Scandinavia that are like, way up north, and they don't have utilities some parts of the year. Really a cool set of products. And of course you're going to need laundry supplies, soap, whatever you want to use. I don't know what you use. You use your own thing. Later on, one of the items is going to be clothespins, because again, it's a system. You got to have a way to wash it. You got to have soap. You got to have water to rinse it with, and you got to hang them up to dry some way. So the clothes washing system, a really good start to that would be a manual use washing machine. And it's one of those things you never would have thought of. Boy, I'll tell you, you get one of those, you're going to become the community laundromat. Everybody's going to be your friend. And that could be a really, really good thing to have, all those friends.
And I will throw into that too, and I think you probably just touched on this. I was looking up something as we were doing this. Bleach is being one of them. And bleach has a shelf life, so pay attention to that. And bleach is more than just washing and cleaning clothes. It's a great disinfectant. It's, if you have someone sick, it's a great cleaner all around. I have to rinse because of dental work, I have to rinse my mouth a couple times a week with a bleach solution. So bleach is a good all around, and it adds to the laundry supplies as well. So There's that as well. There you go. Number 21. Are we on to number 21?
We are on to number 21.
Awesome. Cook stoves. This is, hey, Glenn, what season is it?
Camping season.
Which is why these things are going to be easier to find right now, and I think will become more difficult to find later on. Boy, don't the people in Texas during that crazy time last January, when they had the big ice storm, a lot of people are cooking outside on their cook stoves. Propane, Coleman, cook stove, kerosene,
We're not talking barbecues. We're talking like camping cook stoves.
Yeah.
The classic thing being the dark green Coleman ones.
Yes.
That run on a 1 pound canister, stuff like that. Invaluable to cook, to heat up water, to use for sanitation and a bunch of other things. You can't go wrong.
Especially when electricity is out or some sort of, especially I think about the Texas thing where there was no electricity whatsoever, no heat, and people needed to eat in extreme weather. Can't stress enough, just a little 2-burner one can get you going. And use this camping season that we're at this summer to try these things out. It's a little different cooking on one of those things. It's a lot like cooking on a gas stove where it gets hot real fast and it's a hotter heat, and just be ready and know how to use the mechanism on it and connect it and to your stove. If you've never done that before, you need to know what you're doing. So yeah.
That's right. Like everything else, you're going to have to try these things out. And I would also mention this is what I'm going to say, a system.
Yep.
It's going to require those little 1 pound or whatever propane canisters, and that's part of it. Number 22. We're cooking through these.
Yes,
actually.
we are.
We're cooking through these. The first few we had a lot of commentary on. A lot of these are just commentary less because they're so obvious. Number 22, vitamins, or as we like to say at our house, vitamins.
Vitamins.
Now, you're going to have changed diets. You're going to maybe be going from eating normal American food to like beans and rice or something like that. You're going to need vitamins. If you currently get all or most of the nutrients you need from the food you eat, first of all, good on you. That's awesome stuff. That's probably not going to be the case when your diet is much more narrow when it comes to selection. So you're going to need these vitamins. They don't spoil. They lose their effectiveness after like 5 or 10 years or whatever. They're incredibly inexpensive. You can go to Costco and get the 360 pack, giant bottle of like multivitamins for like $12. You don't need to vacuum seal them. We do anyway. We pop them in a vacuum sealer and vacuum seal them.
The whole jar.
That way they don't get moisture in them and stuff like that. You can't go wrong. Vitamins, and don't just think the giant the giant bottles or whatever, the 360, although those are great. Get a bunch of those. There are all kinds of little like single daily pack things. They come in like a little plastic, little like teeny weeny little Ziploc bag or whatever, and they've got like 9 or 10 things in there, and it's got some more. It's food supplements and everything. Consider that too, because you can throw one of those down your gullet every 3-4 days while you're doing the vitamins. Once again, a great thing to hand out: charity, barter, just helping people out. Vitamins, you're going to be exposed. You're going to be under a tremendous amount of stress. You're going to need vitamins. You're going to be up a lot, as in being awake. You're going to be exerting yourself a ton, and your diet is going to be compromised. All those things scream out vitamins, vitamins, vitamins.
I'm going to add a little detail to that. And I remember back in the early days of Prepping 2.0 when we were going over this particular item, years and years ago, at a church I went to in Portland, had a missionary visit us from Haiti who was doing medical mission work in the deep, dark jungles, like very remote areas of Haiti, obviously a very impoverished, medically fragile community. And they would ask us, and we would always give, those of us at this church, for medical supplies, Band-Aids, ointments, blah, blah, blah. And they would ask for vitamins. And he was very specific. They cannot use gel caps and they cannot use gummies because they go bad really fast.
Good point.
So I take that lesson. When I prep for vitamins, do I use them? Yeah, I have some gel caps in what I take daily, but when I buy things for long term, I'm looking for the hard, the
rock-like pills.
Yeah, that are really fun to swallow. And so think about that. If you're going to put something in long term, don't put the gel caps in the right. So you need to think about that. So little takeaway there, looking for typically the hard pills. Yeah.
And while they're technically not vitamins, there's something else that I think is really good to have in the vitamin-ish category. Once again, make up a word every single show. Today's
job.
word, vitamin-ish.
Not vitamins. That's
No, vitamin-ish. That's Russian.
Oh, my word.
I would add to that food, fruit, and vegetable supplements that are basically freeze-dried, ground-up variety of fruits and vegetables condensed down into a pill. So,
and you see commercials like that on conservative talk shows all the time.
Exactly. So fruit and vegetable supplements that are kind of ground up, because you get a little bit of raspberry, you get a little bit of kale, a little cucumber. I mean, it's like eating a buffet, a really healthy buffet, but it's in a pill form. So consider that. I don't know that they're better than anything else, but just to give you something to look at on the interwebs to get an idea what I'm talking about. GNC makes I think it's called Full Greens or Greens supplement. You'll see what I'm talking about. Highly recommended, because guess what? You're not going to have any raspberries.
Yeah, those micro ingredients, those micronutrients you're going to miss out on. So,
and they're relatively inexpensive, and I have a ton of them because I plan on using them. They won't go bad, and I also plan on helping out a whole bunch of people. And one of those pills a day is going to really help somebody out.
So here, I'm going to do this. Let's do this. We have time to do this. Talking about vitamins, I'm going to tell everybody the vitamins I take every day. I take 2 cranberry tablets a day because I'm a woman. Mm-hmm. I take 2 apple cider vinegar tablets a day. Mm-hmm. I take a calcium tablet. I take one a day, all around good supplement.
Hot chick formula.
I take magnesium. Mm-hmm. I take a probiotic, and I take potassium, and I take a whole lot of melatonin after.
To fall asleep.
I take a handful of pills in the morning and in the evening. Those are the things I take. Now, if I miss out on some of them, that's okay. Those one-a-days will help with that. The calcium, I don't, at my age, I don't want to.
We're all not drinking milk.
Nope. And especially as a woman who's postmenopausal, that calcium is important. Mm-hmm. So think about where you're at and at what stage in your life, and start taking some, if not all of those vitamins now, so that you're used to taking them, and then prep for them. Right now, the cranberry tablets I take, they're a gel form. The ones that I've prepped for are not. Mm-hmm. So there you go. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. And try to duplicate what you're taking now, but at a bare minimum.
Yes.
I would say get 2 things, because they're cheap and easy to store and they don't go bad. Multivitamins and the greens, fruit and vegetable supplement micronutrient stuff we've been talking about. Well, I wanted to get a plug in here, a sponsorship, if you will, for Lizzie McDaniel, who is a realtor in Tennessee, and she has all kinds of experience. She's one of us. That's all I need to say. Mm-hmm. And her contact information can be found on our, may I say, awesome website, redstate-realtors.com, which, as the name implies, is a listing of Red State Realtors. We're still filling in some states, to be quite honest. It's
and we're
a work
always
in
looking
progress.
for them.
Always looking for realtors.
If you know someone, let us know.
If you are a conservative realtor, or you're somebody who recently went to a red state and had a great experience with your realtor, send an email to me, glentate123@gmail.com, or just go on the redstate-realtors.com website on the contact form, and we'll try to get all these realtors on. Lizzie does Tennessee. She's had numerous Prepping 2.0 folks contact her. I haven't talked to her in a while. She's in the process of getting some folks relocated to an awesome red state. So go onto the website, redstate-realtors.com, click on the Tennessee thing on the map, and you can get a hold of Lizzie.
Another one of our great sponsors, Jared Savick. He and his wife are preppers, realtors in the western Montana area, specifically Kalispell. They are preppers themselves, and they know exactly what it takes to make a good prepping property. So whether you want to buy something turnkey or build something yourself, they have knowledge of properties in town, out of town, and way out of town. So don't let when I say Kalispell, don't let that limit you. I encourage you to check them out at their website, Seize the Day Montana. That's seizetheDayMT.com, and let them know when you reach out to them that Glenn and Shelby sent you. And there you go.
Take good care. And of course, Jared is also on redstate-realtors.com.
Of course.
Click on Montana, and you'll see him. All his contact information is there. We have a couple minutes, and I wanted to do one last one, Shelby, if that's okay.
Yeah,
and that's
you bet.
item number 23, cough drops.
Yes, I think this is a good one.
talk about something you don't think about, right? I mean, cough drops. So what's the big deal? Well, when people are going to be coughing more for a variety of reasons, and
not because of COVID.
No. And they're going to need cough drops, and it's one of those soothing morale things. It can really help people out. And again, if I don't have 100% crystal clear understanding of why something is on this list, I revert back to this. The people who made this list know what they're talking about. And if they used up one of the 100 spaces on this for something, that means it's important. So cough drops have got to be important. I kind of understand why, but quite honestly, it's on the list. It's cheap. It's easy to get.
So here are my couple of things that I want to add to cough drops. One, how many times have you had a nasty head cold? And I don't know if those are you're allowed to have one anymore in this. You want to, anyway, have a nasty head cold and you cannot sleep because you're coughing.
And the people around you can't sleep.
Right. How many times that's happened? And when I use cough drops, it tends to be at night so I can get myself to sleep and not be kept awake because of coughing. That's number one. And number two, the best time to buy them generally is around August or September as cold season begins. That's in normal times. The last 2 years have been kind of weird. So encourage you to just keep an eye. If you see cheap ones, generally about $1 a bag, or the little, look for those. And then I would recommend that you vacuum seal them. Are
you making up a word?
I'm not speaking correctly. I need some more coffee. Because we've all opened up a bag of these things when they've kind of congealed and become one with the wrapper.
Goo package.
I encourage you to kind of wrap them up and keep them a little bit more sealed up and away from elements. And because they can get kind of grody and yucky. And we've all found one at the bottom of a pocket or in the back of a glove box. And we were glad we found it because we were suffering at the time.
So I wanted to cut off the number of top 100s we're doing on this show. We have a couple minutes left. We're going to end on number 23, cough drops. We're going to start the after show for Patreons with number 24, which is one of the best items on this list. We'll just tell you what it is because you can get the list at prepping2-0.com. So we're not hiding what's on the list. The discussion of this next topic is epic. It became one of the most popular postings I ever did. I probably got more readership than my book series. The topic is number 24, feminine hygiene products. And just so you know, the post I put up that I think traveled around the world and became kind of somewhat famous.
It literally went viral, literally.
No.
Okay, sorry.
Figuratively. I know.
Figuratively.
She knows I hate the misuse of the word literally. The post was called, I'm Glenn Tate and I buy tampons. And it was all about why this is important, how to do it, and a variety of other things. It was serious and yet it was funny. And we're going to jump into that topic in the after show for Patreons and several more topics. So if you're a Patreon, stick around and listen. You're going to like it. And if you're not a Patreon, I highly suggest you do. Shelby, take us out.
Folks, from Benjamin Franklin, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Have a great week, everyone.
You've been listening to Prepping 2.0 with authors Glenn Tate and Shelby Gallagher. All the information you've heard today, including all our previous shows, is online at prepping2-0.com. Find out more about Glenn's books at 299days.com and Shelby's books at agreatstate.com. Until next time, be smart, be safe, and be prepared.